10/31/2022. This is just a guide on how to run the myQA Accept software with the IBA 3D scanning system. I'm on the Union Square laptop, which actually has a newer version of the software than the Chelsea laptop. So in this one, you log on as physics, and for some reason, the way it was set up was you need to right-click and then run as administrator. Hit yes. So we recently did the TrueBeam 1006, and the way we recommend using this is connect the 3D scanning hardware as usual and level it and so forth. And you must set the central axis and water surface first before continuing to the software. You would open the photon queue, and in this instance I'm opening the TrueBeam 1006 photon queue that already has the measured data. The actual queue you can get from measurement. These little icons here is how you know that it was already measured, as well as the fact that the data is up here. So the data being shown right now is the PDD data. To see the profile data, you click here. That's the in-plane, and that's the cross-plane. So back to the PDD data. So let's say this is the TrueBeam 106 queue that we copied and want to use for our purposes. It already has the data, so we want to delete the data that's in there and start our own queue. The way to do that easily is right-click, select all, hit delete. Same thing with profiles, select all, delete. This flag that shows that it's been measured, we should reset that. Unfortunately, it does not reset when you simply delete, and you do that this way. Okay, so now everything's reset. At this point, we should save it as our own new file name for our machine. But assuming everything's set up, you would need to open the controller. And if it is set up, you will be able to, if the hardware is set up, you'll be able to hit connect here, and it will connect to the CCU. If this gantry coordinates thing is grayed out and you can't click on it, it's because you did not set up central axis and water surface first. For our CC13 IBA chamber that we use for field and reference, we need to change the sensitivity setting for the photons for the field and reference chambers to high. It would be over here. It's grayed out and I can't select it because I don't have the hardware set up. Now for FFF mode for photons, you would need to set it to low because the output's too high. It just overruns the data. It over-responds. For the electrons, it needs to be set to medium. So I'm just going to close this and actually open the TrueBeam measured data that we had just performed previously. And to show you, it was actually done in the queue priority was done in order of energy first. So we select an energy and we just change the field size and measure PDDs. And then we do the profiles afterwards. Let's say you finished measuring all of it. What you want to do now is actually smooth and rescale the PDD data so that you can use it to determine your KQ values. So you can do select all, data handling, smooth. This default seems to have been fine. Hit OK. It'll run a little bit. And then do rescale. So this is now done, and you should save it as another file. That way your original raw data is preserved as its own file. It's just more convenient that way. To actually see the details of this, you can do right-click and show numerical analysis for selected items. This is a big mess. It's kind of busy, so you can also just select one of them at a time. You can even click on the curve to select one of them at a time. And if you want more details over here, you can go to Common Settings, and I believe Analysis Parameters, and it is this one that we created. And you can click on whichever other values that you want, as well as the definitions of other formulas. I will go ahead and close that and open the electron queue. Again, this is already populated because it was already measured. You can blank it out in the same way as we just showed for the photons. Hit select all, delete, and then you'll have to do the same thing for the profiles. And again, you should reset these flags that show that they're measured. I did shift to select all of them, and then reset measured state, and then save it as a new Q file for your machine. Again, once it's set up, you can actually select only specific items to load and start for your queue. Or you can select all of them if you're confident. The way the queue order was prioritized for electrons was in terms of cone size first. So 810 for 10 by 10 and so forth. The value here in field size in this column doesn't really actually mean anything. For the profiles, you have to decide at what depth you want to do them at. We chose to do them at dref, which or you can choose to do them at dmax, and you can determine what your dref and dmax is after you measured your PDDs. I just deleted them here, but it's in the same way that you do it for that I showed you for the photons. Closing this, let's go ahead and open the measured data again. So these are the PDDs only being shown. Let's select all, and I'm going to go ahead and smooth them. And rescale. And what you can do here is select specific ones by clicking down here. Notice how they're highlighted. Or you can actually select the curve specifically. And you click on this guy. A little cursor appears here that you can move. And you can pick what depth is what percentage and so forth, and get more detail that way. And again, you can right-click and show numerical analysis. After you process them, you should save it as another file. The other tricky thing here is the behavior of these pins here on the side. You can click on the controller and pin it there. That way you see what the reference and field values are doing while you're scanning. And you can also pin this guy, and then I believe it will kind of organize it properly after you figure out what you want. See, it will put them beside each other because they're both pinned over here. Or you can unpin one of them, and then when you open one function or the other, it just puts it right on top of the other one. Okay, I'm sure I missed something, but I hope this serves as a guide at least. Here's how you close it. Again, make sure you save your queues afterwards. Good luck.